Yeah, so we will give everyone a few minutes to join us. I know that sometimes people are rushing after dinner. Um, so we'll give everyone 5 minutes. Hi, Mary. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Are you in the UK? Are you in Ghana? Are you somewhere else in the world? How about you, Bessie? So I'm right here in London. It's been a little bit cold today, but it's not been too bad. I went outside for my walk that I do every day just to reset, just to get some fresh air. And yeah, it's definitely turning autumnal in London. So the leaves on the trees are changing their colors, going the orange, um, and red, yellow. Mary is in Devon. Amazing. Awesome. Awesome. How about you, Bessie? Where are you joining us from? Yeah, I hope that everyone has had a really great start to the week. I can't believe it's Wednesday already. The week is flying past, and I have been spending most of my time sharing and letting everyone know that this masterclass is happening live today. And those who registered will also get this on replay. The fantastic thing is at the moment, it is Black History Month, so there are a lot of talks and events on. And in the beginning, I was, thinking about whether I should run this masterclass in this month, but I decided to go for it because actually, people can register and also watch on replay. Welcome. So we're just going to give everyone 5 minutes. We're just introducing ourselves in the chat. So please just say hello, where you're joining from. Welcome, welcome. Fantastic. Yes, so we were just welcoming everyone. So please do say hello and where you're located and what you speak about, because we want to know other great speakers to be able to recommend them. Awesome. We're having that 7 o'clock rush, which is fantastic. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. We're just taking 5 minutes just to let everyone join. And we are just saying hello in the chat. So, where are you located? Who is somewhere far away going to make me jealous? I was recently in San Diego, last month in California. I had a holiday there and I went to a conference, which was pretty amazing. And it's a conference which I've pitched to speak at next year. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing how that pitch lands with um, that team. Welcome, everyone. So we're just taking 5 minutes just to let everyone on and say hello in the chat. Yeah, feel free to let us know where you are located and what you talk about, all the topic. So yeah, San Diego was great. It was sunny. It was good to have some before winter sun. The beaches were really nice. the people were very friendly and relaxed, and because they're quite close to Tijuana, Mexico, there's a lot of like Mexican food, which is really tasty and really nice. We really enjoyed the oh hey Alma, um, nice to see you. Based in London, amazing. Yeah, so fish tacos really really great. Highly recommend them. And the brunch there was pretty good. So we decided just to, because the American portions are like really big. So we thought, why not? Instead of having like, wait, 3 meal a day, well, like have 2 meals a day. So we wrapped two in one. And that was like really good because the portions are lot larger than UK or European. So brunch was the way through that 7 day trip. It was really, really great. So we'll just give everyone another minute and then we will get started. But thank you all um, for coming promptly. I know that you're excited, and I am excited too. Last month when I did my book launch, it was really great to meet some of my community in person, some of my LinkedIn friends in person, which is really, really great. Um, I am, a huge advocate for LinkedIn. I'm a LinkedIn voice, and I believe that LinkedIn is the best platform for professional life, for speaking, and for career. And I know that, every platform has its ups and downs, and LinkedIn as a platform isn't perfect. However, I do believe that despite that, it's a place to be if you really want to accelerate your speaking career and land those paid speaking gigs. So I'm just going to give everyone another 2 minutes and then we will get started. But I appreciate you. I want to say thank you, everyone, for being prompt. That is so amazing and wonderful. But there were a lot of people who did register. So we'll give them 2 minutes and then we will get started because we got some really fantastic insights, which I am excited to share with you. Yeah, it was a source of, pride putting together this masterclass and passion because I am dedicated to helping diverse speakers from all backgrounds, genders, and ethnicities to get paid to speak. And it is something that I know it can be a challenging journey. And I want us all to know that we're not alone. And I'm so thankful that you're all in this room because that means that you know that it's possible and you are prepared to do that journey. So it's great for us to be in community to do that together with one another. Thank you so much for your patience. I'm just going to give it 1 minute until 8 minutes past 7, and then we will rock and roll because I want to respect your time and I want to have time for all of your questions and to be able to support you in the best way that I can. But feel free to say where you're located and the topic that you talk on while we are getting started. So we've had Devon, we've had London, we've had Northwest London, fantastic, thank you. Surrey, awesome. Hertfordshire, any more? Anyone, anywhere far flung? Okay, super. So I am now going to get started. Thank you. So, Bedfordshire, amazing, love it. Okay, everyone. I am now going to roll the deck, as they say. So, welcome everyone to From Free to Fee, How to Land Your First 1K Talk. My name is Ekua, and I am a corporate leadership visibility expert, author, trainer, and coach. So this is an interactive session, and you'll get the best out of it if you reply in the chat, if you share your thoughts and reflections, and you play full out. But I know that's why you're here, so it's just a gentle reminder. And also, whether you've joined live or on replay, please do share your thoughts, your ahas, and what you're going to do. I like to say, what's your one action you're going to do as a result of coming to this masterclass, because we are all here because we're action takers and we are seeking to gain that momentum into our paid speaker era, or to elevate and really ensure that we are going in that way, in that space. So you're definitely in the right room if you're here to build confidence in your paid speaker identity. You want to learn how to position yourself for paid speaking gigs, and you are ready to be like, yes, now is the time for my paid speaker era. Because we want to be consigning free speaking, because we're going to talk more about what that means and what that entails, and why that is so 2025. But a little bit about my background and my story. So I've been an entrepreneur for 5 years and a bit, and I've always been speaking as part of my business. So webinars, masterclasses, all of that great and good stuff. The difference was I wasn't intentional about it. I was in what I call the speaker mindset, and I think you might be able to relate to some of these struggles and pains. So it's that kind of mindset where we are passive and we're wondering when someone's going to offer to pay you. Like, you're getting offers to speak, but they are not paid, and they're not at the right sort of level. You feel awkward about having to ask you to be paid, because quite frankly, you're like, you are an expert. They come to you because they are seeking your transformative, ideas, your framework, your story, your expertise, whatever it is that you are there, that the service that they need. And so you'd obviously think that that would be a fair exchange, that you would share your expertise and then they would pay you. But here's the thing about the speaking industry, which we're going to dig into a bit more, is that's not the way that it works. And I had to find that out the hard way too, because I spent many years thinking, why isn't anyone actually doing the right thing? And that's because I had the wrong mindset, and there are a few other issues which we're going to delve into. So being told there's no budget is one that is so annoying and frustrating, and I've been told that many times. And I used to think that there wasn't any other way. But then last year, something shook me to the core. And that was an invitation to speak. So a large public sector organization in the UK emailed me and invited me to speak to a group of entrepreneurs on their program. And it was a very nice invitation. And they were, telling me about what a great opportunity it was, how great it would be for my visibility, everything you expect when you get a nice invitation. That sounds good, but there's one vital missing ingredient, and that is, are they going to pay me? So something about this just fell off, and I was like, no, this isn't an organization where budget is an issue. So at that time, I didn't have the words yet in my regular vocabulary as to ask to be paid, because I was still in that kind of like awkward phase where I was like, it's a bit icky. So I asked in my coaching group, and I was given a form of words to email back and to ask for the budget. Now, what's very interesting about that whole situation and scenario is that once I did actually email back and ask for the budget and say that, this is, what I sort of charge, they came back with a very different tone and attitude and treated me very differently. And that was because I'd had that courage to broach that topic with them. And that opportunity went from being zero, because I could have accepted that and they would have taken my expertise and used it, and it would have been great. Um, but instead, I paused, I asked for help, and that became a four-figure deal. So that's amazing. So now I've got a simple mission. I thought to myself, it's not only myself that I can help with all of the things that I've learned and invested in so that I can become a paid speaker and keep iterating and growing my own speaking business. I also want to help other diverse speakers get paid to speak because I know that it is acute from different backgrounds, genders, and identities to get paid to speak. So I want to help us all to have the courage, the confidence, and the insights to be able to make that transition from free to fee. So this is an active work masterclass. So what I'd love us to do is, I think that it's time that we throw away this new budget in the bin of 2025. So please use the chat to give me a bin or write bin if you are ready to throw away this new budget. Who is with me on that? Because I'm telling you, both hands up. Like bin, 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 like bin, bin, bin. Yes, I'm in. Bin, 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 bin. Seriously, like this is not where we want to be, right? We're consigning it because I'm going to show you a different way. So let's put that in the bin and let us really get focused and excited about our onward journey to the paid speaker mindset and being that paid speaker. Yeah, we had another bin. Fantastic. Okay. We got a capital bin. Woo! Alexander, yes, I'm feeling the energy and the vibe. That's right. We are bidding it. We are trashing it. We are stamping on it. In fact, we're going to set fire to it. That's right. That's right. It is gone. It's up in flames. Like it is no longer part of our life. Okay. So now, what I would love us to do is to visualize your paid speaker era. So what we're going to do is everyone just close your eyes, and we're going to have a couple of minutes where I'd like you to imagine you walking onto your dream stage. I'm going to close my eyes in a moment too, and I'm going to set my timer. So what you need to do is close your eyes and imagine your dream stage. So if it's the TEDx, if it's a 4500 company, if it's some other stage, but just imagine being on that stage. Like name it, you know, think about how it's going to feel when you get the applause. Think about all the people that you're going to help. Think about what it is that your speaker mission is. And we're going to have that moment to visualize. So let me just set 4 minutes on the clock. And I'd like us all to just close our eyes and visualize that. And then once we've done that, what I'd love us to do is to share the stage that you imagined in this time. So here we go. So we have just under 1 minute. And then I would love us to share what is that stage that you're dreaming of. Okay. What stage were you dreaming of? In my visualization, I was dreaming of being on a stage with Michelle Obama at a leadership conference, and it was a large crowd of like, 800 to like 1,000 people. Like, I would love to be on a stage with Michelle Obama being paid to speak. That's what came to my mind. That's what I visualized, and I'm all here for it. So I think that's Sean imagined himself on a TEDx stage, a conference for thought leaders, a room full of determined women who want to see more united families and stable homes. Amazing. Anyone else think of a stage, whether it's TEDx, whether it's an international conference, whether it's a conference in your industry, whether it's you want to run your own kind of like workshop, webinar, seminar. What was the stage that you saw?
Can we say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. So I imagined it was on a stage. You were like one of these hotel conference rooms, large amount of people, and there I am giving my talk. I actually imagine myself in America as well. Funny
Oh,
enough,
nice.
you said
Great,
San
Benjamin.
Diego. Yeah. So just talk about how people can improve themselves. Talk about the markets. What I know, that sort of thing.
Fantastic. Thank you, Benjamin. Thanks for sharing. Really
All right.
appreciate that. Okay, I can see a few more people in the chat have responded. The main stage at Black Tech Fest. Amazing. Thanks, Amma. Uh, Yvonne was saying TEDx talk. Um, Alexander, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll follow Benjamin. So I imagine I'm doing a conference yearly, which is really small at the moment, but I imagine that conference being much larger with thousands of people, professionals, creative, and entrepreneurs, and just speaking to them and encouraging them and inspiring them as well. Yeah, that's something that I definitely aspire to, and during this time, I was really visualizing that. So thank you for that.
Amazing. Thanks, Alexander. Yeah, it seems that everyone has gone to a place where they have envisioned and imagined the stage that is exciting for them right now. We have a few TEDx stages and a few other different stages. So it's really important for us to have that clarity and that focus so that we can take the steps to be able to, achieve that. Laura saying, I imagined a conference for influential women in business who are able to offer support to teenagers who need support, and also imagine being at a school delivering assemblies that helping young people stop limiting themselves. Amazing, shifting mindsets. Fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, so it's important for us to get clear and specific on our stages. Because with that clarity, we are able to focus and to take the right steps in order for us to be able to achieve that goal. Because I think the frustrating thing that we have is like, we genuinely know we want to be paid and we want our expertise to be valued, and we know that it is like amazing and awesome, but having a clear and specific stage helps us to actually identify, okay, what do we need to do in terms of being in the circles where we're going to hear about these opportunities, going to those events or creating those events if we are creating our own stages. So thank you, everyone. That is so amazing. And if you didn't share with us, just make sure you just write it down and that you have that for your own self and reference. Okay, so I'd like to delve a little bit more into your speaker mindset. As we were discussing earlier, so the speaker mindset is not the one that we want. You know, we want to not be passive. We don't want to be just thinking that it's a responsibility of the organizers, and we don't want to be showing up inconsistently. So one of the things that a lot of speakers who are getting invitations but not the right kind of invitations have a challenge with, and I'm going to put both hands up. Before I got serious, I wasn't showing up consistently as a visible speaker. And that can really hamper your opportunities. Now, visibility is not the only thing that we have to do in order to be a paid speaker, but it is one of the things that is our shop window that helps us to look the part and to start attracting opportunities and having conversations where we are enforcing our boundaries. But as I was saying to you earlier, I reached a decision point where I was like, enough is enough. I am tired of this free speaking malarkey and the cheek of some of these people that are coming into my DMs and asking me to speak. I decided that my voice has value and your voice has value. So I created what I call the paid speaker mindset. And that is where we negotiate every deal. So I like to liken it to being like a lawyer. So a lawyer is expensive and always discusses their fees. You will not meet any lawyer that never discusses their fees. They're always upfront. They tell you how good they are and they tell you what their fees are. And I thought that's a great thing for us as speakers to do as well. So we need to adopt that negotiating lawyer mindset where we're like, yes, you're the prize, I'm the prize, and we're going to ask the budget every time, because that is the way that we are able to demonstrate that we are professional paid speakers. Because a professional paid speaker doesn't wait, they're not passive, and they are going forward and asking, what is the budget? And that makes such a difference. When you come to the room with that, what is the budget, and you have that discussion, you are able to see the people differently, and they are able to see you differently, because then they know that you're serious about being paid. And yes, obviously it doesn't always work out, but the point here is, though, more often than not, we're able to have like really helpful and fruitful discussions when we raise it first and raise it confidently, and not in a way that's sheepish or not in alignment with the magic and the expertise that we are offering them. So we've got another activity. What speaker type are you? Please do, as I go through the 4 speaker types, type in the chat which one you think you're most aligned to at the moment. So are you the reluctant rookie? So this is a speaker. You've spoken on podcast webinars and events, but you're not really accepting that you're a speaker. You kind of just do it. And you're not really yeah, I do it, but I don't have a talk, or it's just something that people ask me to do, but I'm not intentional about really going forward and seeking more opportunities, or being full chest, loud and proud about that. So if you're a reluctant rookie where people invite you but you just don't really register it as something that you do, and you're not really putting yourself out there as a speaker, then that is you. Or are you the modest mic dropper? So these are folks that have spoken on a TEDx stage, international stages, or they've done big events in the industry, but yet nobody knows they've spoken on these stages. So a lot of the time I find with some TEDx speakers is they do the TEDx, they work all really hard to get it, and it's amazing, and they share game-changing ideas, as you're supposed to do in TEDx. But then they go quiet. They ghost their TEDx, which is so unbelievable, because it's such a valuable speaker asset. And no one knows that they've done it, or they are embarrassed to repeat the fact that they've done it. But not everyone knows that you've done TEDx. So it's new news to people that you're sharing it with. So it's about making sure that we repeat and we tell people over and over again. And if that's an asset that you have, that you use it as part of pitching and applying to speak. You know, whether it's a TEDx or any other opportunities that you've spoken at, which was, you know, well received in your industry. The next is the corporate natural. So you're basically someone who speaks through work. So, you know, your work basically gets you booked to speak at conferences, to do podcasts, you know, and all those kind of events. But you're not really like taking ownership that you're a speaker. You're not claiming the title as a speaker, and you're not claiming the fees. So that's the corporate speaker. And then the final speaker type is the invisible entrepreneur. So you've spoken again on all these different stages, but this is the number one thing that you tell me. You say to me, Ekua, I'm a great speaker, I get good feedback, but I'm not getting booked as I'd like to be booked. And the problem is here. The visibility is low and inconsistent. You're the person where I have to like scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll to find any evidence of you speaking. So whilst it's great that you get the positive feedback, the evidence doesn't come back to LinkedIn or the social platforms that you're on in order for us to see that. So out of the four speakers types, what kind of speakers do we have in this room at the moment? Let me have a quick check. So I'm saying reluctant rookie, Yvonne's saying reluctant rookie, Dion's saying reluctant rookie, Lynn's saying reluctant rookie, Sean's saying the invisible entrepreneur. Can I share the four again? Yes, of course I can, Jerry. Hold on a moment. And Alexander's saying the invisible entrepreneur. So let me just scroll back. Okay. So the first type was the reluctant rookie. So that is someone who's denying their speaker. They're invited to speak. They speak on panels, podcasts perhaps, but they don't really intentionally like seek out invitations, even though they come to them and they have actually, you know, had experience speaking. The modest mic dropper, even. So they're someone who's done like a big like stage in their field. So TEDx or something similar or equivalent in your field, but they're not chatting about this or telling anybody that they have done these things. The corporate natural is someone who speaks as part of their work, but yet they're not claiming, you know, their fees or their title. And then the final one was the invisible entrepreneur. So they're the person that's saying, I get great feedback, but then they are ghosting their LinkedIn profile when it comes to showing the speaker like content and evidence. Like you're literally scrolling and scrolling like back for so long, and you're like, if I have to scroll, this is not no good, because people are lazy, y'all. They are lazy. We've got to make it easy for them. So this is the problem with the invisible speaker, invisible entrepreneur. Okay, so we've got reluctant rookie and corporate natural, modest mic dropper, corporate natural, reluctant rookie, I've spoken at funerals and on conversations. I said, okay, great, fantastic. So we've got a range of different kinds of speakers, which is great. Okay, so here is something that we want to talk about, because is free speaking really free? You know, as a speaker, we take pride in our craft. We actually put in work and effort, and I know everyone here is somebody who does a quality job. So when we talk about free speaking, I'm putting it as inverted commas because I don't think it's free. Yeah, so the spoiler alert, it's not free. So every time we're stepping up to speak, it is not free. There are time costs, there are research costs, there are prep costs, and you want to practice and rehearse. So free speaking isn't free. And I'm going to go through a whole heap of things why it's not free, so that we can be reminded, especially when we're on autopilot and we are receiving these invitations, that free speaking is not free. So we need to be very careful about giving our time to these talks. It's fine to make a conscious and intentional decision to speak for free, but not if you think that's like your only choice. That's not what we're about here. Okay, yes, it takes emotional time, energy, and creativity. You've got to create that talk. You've got to like feel into it. You've got to do all the stuff that you need to do in order to do a quality job. So that is time and investment, and that's not free. And again, you're using the opportunity to actually pitch for paid work, actually take actions to optimize your LinkedIn profile, and networking, and doing the stuff of a paid speaker. So again, the free speaking opportunities are costing you and they're not free. So let's all write that down. Free speaking isn't free. There are costs. As I said, time is money. So, but this is why you're in the room, because I'm going to tell you something that's super important. This is a gem. Please write this down. So there is a way that free speaking can be valuable. And this is how. This is the only way. So listen up close. So you can do what I call a leveraged deal. So first of all, ultimately, we want to pitch and attract and apply and do deals that are paid and we get cash. That's number one. But number two is the leverage deal. So the leverage deal is where you're getting something in return that is valuable and could help you to get a paid gig. So what I mean by this is, for example, if you were to be approached by, let's say the number 2 conference in your industry, and they said, well, we weren't paying, and you're saying, well, I'm actually a paid speaker, but however, I've decided on this occasion, and listen to what I'm saying, on this occasion, that I'm going to waive my fee, and I will do it in exchange for, you want to tell them what you're going to do it in exchange for, and you're going to do it in exchange for high quality footage, that's clips, or photography, things of that nature. Because when you're doing it for something that actually helps you to be able to share content or to create a speaker reel, that is a clear value return. Because in that instance, or a similar instance to that, you're able to get something back. Yes, that is a that part. I understand that, Jerry. That's not everyone's trustworthy. But what I would do is get this in writing. So you would make sure that you are clear that you've decided on this occasion, that you are not charging your fee. You are instead exchanging for the assets, and you write this down, and it should be an email where you've exchanged it, and you say what it is that you're going to do the talk in exchange for. So that would be what I call a leveraged deal. Yes, there are unscrupulous people, unfortunately. However, we want to do it in good faith. So I think for me, it's a case of, moving rooms and not dealing with the same people. Because if we have a track record, or we see a pattern, we don't always know, obviously, if it's the first encounter with them. But if that becomes the case, then obviously we'd want to part ways and move to different rooms. Okay, so where are you in the paid power pyramid? So this paid speaking power pyramid comes from my book, and I'm just gonna share with you the different levels. And I'd love to know, like, where are you now in 2025, and where would you like to be in 2026? So the first level here is you're really rooted in the autopilot of the speaker mindset, where you are not being discerning about the opportunities that are coming to you. You're just saying yes and yes and yes and yes, and just hoping that things are going to change, and that not being intentional or strategic about how you are building your speaking portfolio, or how you're moving towards transitioning into paid speaking gigs. So that's the bottom layer. The second layer is where we've become a bit more intentional about, saying no to some opportunities. We have, started to work on our profile, but we're still, unsure, and we kind of don't necessarily believe that we can definitely make that full on transition into the paid speaker. So we are not being consistent with the good habits of a paid speaker. So, we are not keeping our profile up to date. We are not, doing our networking and pitching and all the things that we need to do as a paid speaker. We're kind of, doing it every now and again. And sometimes it's working for us, but it's kind of inconsistent. But then obviously we want to ascend to the top of the pyramid, which is the paid speaker, which is where we are, applying that paid speaker mindset. So we're negotiating every deal. We're always asking what's the budget. We make sure that our LinkedIn profile is relevant, is up to date, that we're sharing relevant content, that we are going out there, we are networking, that we are picking up assets, that we are pitching. So we're doing all the things of a paid speaker. So I'd love to know, how would you rate yourself now? Like, are you on the bottom layer, the middle layer, or the top layer? Middle. Free speaker. Okay, but you'd like to be paid speaker. Excellent. Bottom. Bottom. Middle. Bottom and the middle. Okay. Between the bottom and the middle. Great. Fantastic. Okay. So let us just pause and reflect upon this where we are now. So the great thing is, where we are today is not where we're going to be in the future. Every day is a new day. And as trite as that sounds, it's true. So, last year I had this awakening from that public sector organization that has money that I actually have to change. I have to be the person, and you also have to be the person that decides to move in a different way and to move in the paid speaker mindset. And it is a muscle that needs to be built. So it's about remembering that it's not about your end product, which is your talk. That's all good, and obviously we need to refine it and iterate on that talk, but we also need to do the work around the mindset and the behaviors when we are receiving offers, because that is how we can break free and how we can actually move into different spaces and rooms. So in some markets and segments, they are more prone to the whole business model of we don't pay speakers. However, that doesn't mean you have to stay in your primary market. So what I mean by this is, let's say, for example, because I know that some of us here are interested in the tech market, and that's a market that is quite a common one for people to want to speak in. So I have been involved, and still I'm involved in women in STEM groups. And one of the common complaints from many STEM female speakers is that they're always hearing there's no budget, right? And I totally get that. But here's the thing. What we don't then do is decide to actually ask questions that can help us to really understand really if there is a budget. So what I mean by that is one of the key power questions, and I do invite you to write this down because this is a power insight which I shared recently in my Paid Speaker Connections group, and that is to ask those you're having conversations with who are saying there's no budget, is, have you ever paid speakers before? Have you ever paid speakers before? Because when you ask them that question, then you'll get to know the real truth as to whether there's no budget or not. Obviously, people can lie, but you can at least see them. If you're on a Zoom call, you can see their face and you can see how they're reacting. But the point is that asking this question allows you to make an informed decision about if you want to actually continue and do the deal with the people that are involved with this. Because if they're looking a bit shifty and they're kind of like, not answering immediately, then clearly there's something, wrong there. And that's a red flag. And, I would be like, I'm not really wanting to work or be part of that event if that is the case. And then if they're honest and they say, yes, they have, then that's an open door for you to say, excellent. Well, let's talk about that. And these are my fees, and let's negotiate. So, being open to having those conversations and asking those questions, even if we're in a market where a lot of events say that they don't pay for speakers, that is one good question to ask. And then the other thing that we're able to also do is to look at where will our expertise also fit. That takes research. We've got to think about, okay, if the tech market, primarily isn't paying speakers, where else that is maybe a nearest neighbor that I could also, talk about these things. And it might be, banking or finance or corporate organizations. I don't know. But the point is, though, there's opportunities for us to move rooms to where budgets are. You don't have to stay in the room. We're not a tree. You can definitely move, but it does take us seeing the pattern, asking that question that I've just shared with you, and then deciding, to move rooms or to seek other events where they are having budgets. So, where can you get paid to speak? So, one thing I want to share is the stage isn't the only place to get paid to speak, because I think that sometimes we can have a misconception that that is the only place. But I want to offer you that there are many places to get paid to speak. And it's really great that we lean into our gifts and talents and the kind of speaker that we want to be. Because we don't have to be the same speaker as Mary, Peter, Sean, or Alexandra. We can decide to choose a speaking path and career that works for us. Okay, so, you can be a virtual speaker. You can speak on stages, you can do keynotes, you can do seminar rooms, workshops, trainings, podcasts, panels. I mean, there's a whole multitude and plethora of different kinds of opportunities for speaking, but I just want to open our minds to the fact that it's not just a stage, and you can decide what is the best stage for you. So yeah, speaking is a business, and the end product is the talk, but we need to choose the stage that works for you. So there are some people who are making a pretty healthy living from being virtual speakers. They are great at graphics. They are good at their their chat. They are very dynamic and they love the virtual space, and they have made a great career of that. But they've opened their mind to that and they've decided that that's the lane for them. And they haven't been blinded by this whole the stage, the stage, the stage. So for me, that was quite an eye-opening opportunity to think about, actually, where do I feel is the best stage for me? If it's the stage, great, fine. But if it's not the stage, workshops, as I said, trainings, podcast panels, they're all different versions of the stage, whether it's virtual or in person. But let's slay in your own lane. Slay in your own lane. Okay, so what do we need to do to land our first 1K talk? The paid framework. And again, the paid framework comes from my book, Your Platform Power. And the first letter is P. So whilst we're not just focusing on our product, we do have to practice as a speaker and create our talk or our speaking offering to be the best that it can be. So that isn't just about turning up. It's about the stories, the research, the the way that you present yourself and how you make it a memorable experience. So yes, the craft is part of it. The second part is attracting opportunities with visibility. So this is about your shop window. So this is about your social platforms, keeping your house tidy, current, relevant, and bookable. So you want to be intentionally doing research with your market about, what are the words that they are using, so that you can use those words on your profile and you can use that in your content. And you want to be able to be dynamic and to change as the market changes. So what I mean by this is, we can all see that like AI is affecting every industry. And, it might be that, having something to say about AI in your your industry could help to make you more relevant and bookable. We don't all have to jump on the AI bandwagon, but this is an example. It might be something else that's changing your industry. But whatever it is that is changing or transforming your industry, you may feel that, having that is something you can also talk about in addition to your core expertise could be something that can make you more bookable. The third part is impacting through engaging talks. So this is about, what is that thing that people come to see? So there is a book called The Referable Speaker. That is The Referable Speaker. The black book, it's got a gold circle on it. Their model is FEE, F-E-E. But in their book, I'm just borrowing from that, they talk about, what is the magic, the sparkle, the thing that people say, yeah, I'm booking, any of you who are on the call, Mary, Bessie, Benjamin, for. So, for example, it might be that you tell jokes, it might be that you wear a costume, it might be that you're high energy, it might be that you dance, whatever it is, that is your USP. And that's something to think about. It's like a trademark thing. And then the final thing, which is, super important, is demanding our value and talking about the money. Because talking about the money can seem awkward, but it's something that we've got to train ourselves as professional speakers and professional paid speakers to do. It's about, asking every time and then deciding whether it's deal or no deal. And as I said before, when you start coming into the room, asking those questions, you have an opportunity to have a different kind of conversation, and to sometimes there's like a pause in the sort of like conversation where people go to think about, whether they really want you. But by having that forward momentum of coming with what's the budget and talking about that lets them know where you're at and that you're definitely a professional speaker, and that is part and parcel of what you do, and you're not on the free, and you get yourself off the free speakers list. So you need to be doing that so that people see you in that mold. And as we were talking about before, only do deals where there is cash or leverage value. So that's, assets, whether it's footage, clips, or other things that could potentially help you to get paid to speak. So do you negotiate down or stick with a fee? Okay, great. Thank you, Laura, for this question. So it might seem that you want to, fit within the budget, and that's normal and natural. However, we need to think about what is the value of what we're offering and how to negotiate in a way that's effective. So what we want to do is, if we're going to reduce the fee, then there also has to be a reduction in what we're offering to do for them. So let's say that, we said our fee was £5,000, and they were like, no, our budget doesn't stretch to £5,000. They said, oh, our budget it's got a cap of 2,500. And you're like, okay, that's fine. However, the talk that I do is £5,000. I can do you a 2,500 talk, but I would have to remove this part, this part, and this part. Would you still like to have the 2,500 talk, or would you like to have the 5K talk? And you can have that discussion with them. So it's about making sure that you are anchored in the value of what it is that you're offering, and we're not just trying to pretzel ourselves to reduce the fee without demonstrating to the person that means we have to take something away. And that's something I've had to learn the hard way, because naturally we want to do a deal, but we need to make sure that the deal is right, and that actually sometimes we have to say no if the money doesn't align. And it's up to you to decide, but I'm offering you that it's better to reduce the size of what you're offering to fit a budget if that's what you're trying to do, or to be clear about this is what, your gold star is going to be, and this is what your silver star is. Sorry, so that they are clear in their minds, and that is the most powerful way to negotiate, and then obviously to walk away. But I want to tell everyone about walking away and why that's a powerful thing, and doesn't necessarily mean it's the end. Hold on one moment. So why I say negotiating is not necessarily the end when they say, it's this amount, and you say, well, this doesn't match. When you clearly communicate what can be offered, then there's sometimes there's time for people to think about that, and in that time, you have some like back and forth, but it's about holding the line, and that's nerve wracking, but it's a skill, and it's not about perfection, but I would definitely go with a mindset of you're a quality provider, and this is what it costs, and then if you're going to reduce and be very clear that something has to be taken away. Okay, so now we are doing the 3 secrets of every paid speaker. So the first thing to say is speaking is a relationship business. So what does that mean? So that means that it is a long game. So we see like a lot of like people posting, I'm speaking here, there, everywhere, and it looks like a quick process. It really isn't a quick process. It's a slow process. It can take months or even years. And what I think is really heartening is a lady called Norshin Chen, who I follow. She's a big in the speaking industry. She recently ran a masterclass, and she shared a post recently that said that it's taken her, I think, maybe 1 year or 2 years to basically re-hone her pitch and be successful in pitching for Web Summit Europe, and that's a major tech conference. But the point here is that she shared that she had it taken her over a year, and she'd had rejections along the way, and that by speaking with the organizers and getting market intelligence and feedback, she resubmitted, and eventually she has now been accepted. So the point I'm making here is that relationships are a long game, and pitching is a long process. So what we need to be doing is to one, build relationships with organizers. So go to events where you want to speak at and meet the event organizing team, follow them, connect them on LinkedIn, and stay in touch with them and find out when they are going to be inviting speakers to step forward. And then your network. Now, your network of people who know, like, and trust you. And this is a very underrated thing. So I know you're gonna be like, but Ekua, I want to get direct to the organizer and the people that are going to be able to help me to get on stage and to get paid. I hear you. I know that, and that is definitely what we want to be doing. However, this is something that is super important and can actually really help you and be a way that you can move faster. And that is when your friends and family recommend you, you have that basically the okay seal, that seal of approval from someone else that says, yes, we don't have to background check you and think 110 times, or we don't have to worry that you are potentially at high risk, because what every event organizer wants is a low risk. They want to be thinking that they can tell their boss that you're someone that has been doing the stuff, and yes, there will be a replay available. So yes, so someone who's been out there doing the stuff, and that's all evidence, right? When you get a referral, the conversation that you have about speaking isn't about you proving yourself. It's actually about them just wanting to know how you're going to deliver, making sure that you're aligned, and then you're able to discuss the budget and the payment. So when you get recognition or a referral from whether it's your friends, families, colleagues, ex-colleagues, whoever, this lowers the barrier to entry when you're having the booking conversation, because it's not about proving. It's actually just about you investigating and aligning and making sure that you're going to deliver the best for them, and that that you are on the same page. Yes, so this workshop is an hour and a half. So if you need to watch the replay, please feel free to drop off. Okay, so the second is visibility and relevance. So what do I mean by this? So as I was saying before, it's really important that your LinkedIn shop window is kept up to date and relevant, because we are living in a AI infiltrated world, and we're all using a GPT of your choice. That is, by no means certain. And what we're doing is we have an opportunity to use those GPTs to help us to be relevant and searchable. So what I mean by this is you can use, your GPT of choice to, find out what are the key SEO words that you can use on your profile, what are the words that you can do your own research to find out what are the words that I've been using on the conference, like agendas and events that you want to speak at, because you want to align and be found. You want to get those hits from those event organizers, because people that would want to have you speak. So you're coming up in the searches. So you want to be showing up consistently, sharing that relevant speaker content. So whether that is posts of when you've spoken, whether that is clips, whether that is, sharing, insights or chunks of knowledge, that kind of thing. But it's all, but keeping that stuff relevant and regular. Because remember, everybody, that like Google, LinkedIn is a search engine. So you need to feed the search engine to be able for it to be able to find relevant information about you, right? So you want to be able to help it for your name to come up when it's talking about, tech, mental health, whatever it is that you talk about. And the final thing is tell everyone that you're a speaker, and let them be your silent sales force. So as I was saying before, by getting recommended by someone who knows I can trust you, when you're having the conversation about being booked, it's a different conversation, because it's not about proving yourself. It's about, aligning and just having a normal conversation about how you're going to serve, and what is the budget, and coming to an arrangement. So don't underestimate your friends and family, because just to make this really clear, they may have worked at organizations you want to speak at. They may know people that work at organizations where you want to speak at, but only by you telling them will they be able to think and be able to share that you are a speaker and you can help on relevant topics. So it's a long game, and it's not about an immediate, they're gonna be thinking about you and your speaking career. No, it's not that, obviously, but it is them knowing, and you having an extra iron in the fire, because honestly, when someone's rooting for you, like your friend or your family or someone who really truly knows you, that seal of approval goes a long way to help smooth the way when you're in the conversation about what you're going to deliver, because they're already excited to have you. So it is that opportunity that we have with friends, family, and colleagues to get seeds out there. And yes, as I said, it's a long game, but sometimes it basically can come unexpectedly, but we have to do the work in sharing about this, networking, and keeping in touch with our most networked people. So how bookable is your LinkedIn headline? So again, we are doing a little exercise just to check how relevant is your headline. So I've got two examples, again, which come from my book. And the main thing here is, do you actually have speaker in the headline? Do you have speaker and your topic? Do you have, whether it's speaker or keynote speaker? Let me know. So let's all take a couple of minutes just to think about and write, what would you say if you're going to make yourself up a new headline? So take a couple of minutes just to have a look at the examples, and then share a new headline which you can experiment with. So one of the things I want to share while you're thinking about these examples, and then just write your example. Just it's rough and ready. Like no one's going to hold you to it, but it's just getting you into this activity and habit of actually changing your LinkedIn headline on a regular basis, because we want to be relevant and searchable, and that means we change our headline on a regular basis. Not every week or every month, but we change it, and we research and we think about how can we be more relevant. And I definitely do change my headline from time to time when I'm wanting to be more relevant and visible, just because it helps for us to be found when we are aligned with current search terms that are aligned with your industry. Okay, no worries, everyone. So please do have a go at your headline. What are your ideas based on those two examples? Thanks, Edwina. Let me have a look what you've got. Okay, so Edwina has speaker, coach, and trainer on trauma-informed leadership and emotional health, project and program management, DEI trainer, learning and development consultant, women and youth empowerment, author unveiled. Okay, thanks, Edwina, for sharing. So the question that I would ask you about your headline is, you start with trauma-informed leadership and emotional health. So with the kinds of talks or bookings that you're trying to seek, is trauma-informed a key word that people in that industry or that sector are really hot on? So that's the first question I would ask. If that is the case, excellent, great. If that's not the case, there's an opportunity to look at and think about what word would we have instead of trauma-informed. Is there another word that is, maybe more on trend right now, or maybe something well-being? Yes, that's a great word. But well-being, but we can add something to that. So is it well-being of women, workplace, like well-being and culture? Like, what is it specifically? So it's around thinking about specifically what is the area and potentially the outcome that we're trying to work on. But thank you, Edwina. That's so super helpful. I'm just seeing a few more things pop up here. So Benjamin's got spreading markets and motivation spreading markets and motivation to the common man speaker. Okay, so this seems quite specific and niche, but what is the main market that you're looking to be in? Do they talk about spreading markets? Is there something? What's the main outcome, or what's the main problem? Because we want to be having a headline where it's searchable, and somebody who's in your industry or the target industry would be like, yes, Benjamin fits because he's used the right word. So I'm not sure if that's the right word. If that's the right word, great. Otherwise, there's an opportunity to research and think about if a different word might be more applicable. So Dion says, author, creator, speaker, founder of The Adventures of Canary Ryland, author of How Do You Get Moved? Ooh, okay. So my question to Dion would be, what is your topic? Because at the end, I'm caught by the word baby. Are you in fertility? Are you in some other kind of healthcare around a children's author? Okay. So my question and reflections for you, Dion, is what would you want to be talking about in relation to being a children's author? Is it a specific childhood problem? Is it, well, let's say behavior, manners, mental health of children? Because from this headline, it's not clear what that main topic would be. So I would refine and look into what that main topic might be. Great, everyone. Thank you. Okay, so now we have the opportunity for a speaker profile hot seat. If anyone would like to take this opportunity. So what does this mean? So if you would like me to have a look at your LinkedIn profile right now, there are 3 spots available. Let me know, and I will basically open your profile and I will tell you one area which you can improve to help you be more bookable. Would anyone like to take this opportunity? Alexander. Can you?
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I would love to take the opportunity.
Okay. Do you want to drop your LinkedIn into the chat so I can
Yeah,
see it?
can do.
That'd be great.
Okay. LinkedIn.com. There you go.
Okay. Okay, can everyone see Alexander's profile? Can I just get a Y or yes or someone reply? Can we see his profile? Okay, thank you. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, sometimes the screenshot doesn't always work. Okay, great. So the great thing about Alexander's profile is that he does have speaker in the headline, so that's great. But the improvement I would say is it's quite generic, so it's not going to be flagged in a thematic search.
Okay.
So I would need to know the topic. So I would encourage Alexander to have speaker and a topic area so that it can be flagged as, because people are lazy, as I said. So you want to be able to have speaker and the top level category that you are shooting for there for them. So they're like, yep, I'm going to stay and not move on.
Okay. So this would be so I speak a lot about entrepreneurship, like for the early days. Do I need to be that specific in
Yeah,
this
so
space?
it could be like, speaker on startups or speakers on like founding startups or whatever. But you can have like a short pithy phrase, and you can use ChatGPT or the GPT of your choice to help you come up with something. But you'd want to have like the startup or founder in there. That would be
Okay.
That's great, because those words are like yes words for people who are looking for that kind of thing.
Okay.
Nice one. Okay. Who was the next person? Uh, Dion, do you want to drop your link in and we'll have a look?
Thank you, Ekua.
You're welcome. Thanks. Okay, great. Okay. Okay, can everyone see Dion's profile? Just a Y, just to make sure that we're all seeing the same thing.
Hi, it's the right one.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, so you've got your headline. This is your book, and all about this book. And so the good thing is that you've flagged your what do you call it, marker in the sand as being an author of this children's book. But I think for clarity in the headline, it would be speaker about the particular area of children's stuff that you work on. That would help you to be flagged, because at the moment, the name of your book isn't something that somebody would search for. So
Right.
yeah, exactly. So it's great to have that as use that as your banner, but if you then were like, helping them to find you, you'd have something around the children's area that you speak on, and then that with that would help you to be found. So yeah, just tiny tweaks, but again, it's like having that mindset of like testing it and trying things. But when we are like thinking about how people are going to, consume that information so that they're able to make a judgment, then we kind of think like that actually, yes, they're not going to be searching for your book. They're going to be searching on the children's area of topic that they need someone to speak about, and they want to know quickly and easily. Having it here allows them to do that. So thank you for sharing. Okay,
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it.
you're most welcome. Okay, the last one we will do is Benjamin. I was just going to see a link. Okay, so this is Benjamin's profile. Has everyone seen Benjamin's profile? Can we have a yes, a why? I mean, okay. So Benjamin, I would like to say a couple of things because I think this will be helpful for everybody. So LinkedIn rates all of the profiles. So what does that mean? So LinkedIn look for profiles that are complete and are active. And those are the profiles it tends to promote in the search. So Benjamin's profile at the moment would not rank as complete by LinkedIn standards. And that's because he doesn't have a banner, he doesn't have a photo, and those things do matter as much as it seems like it's just what you call it, like things that might seem like a not essential, but as part of LinkedIn's like machine process of taking things off, Benjamin's profile would not be counted as complete. So just make sure everyone that your profile is complete, and that will help you to get more visibility and to be found by LinkedIn.
You know what? Can I just say, my picture? I've got a picture up there on my screen. I can see my own picture. I don't know why you can't see it.
Oh, okay.
That's well. I haven't got a banner. That's
Okay.
true. I haven't got
Okay.
a banner, but the picture's definitely up there. That's all.
You got okay, fantastic. Okay, amazing. That's good. That's good. Okay, yeah. But yeah, add about it. So, and just in terms of specifically about your headline, so you're saying you're an ASCII proprietary trader, but you don't say that you're a speaker. So if you are now looking to be found for a speaker, you would have to add speaker and the topic that you want to be found for.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Beautiful, because that again is tagging you to be found. At the moment, no one can kind of like see or find that because you haven't actually put that on there. So thanks everyone for sharing. That's been really, really great. Right, let me find. There we go. Okay, perfect. Oh, let's just see if there's a question before we. Yes, you're welcome. Okay, yeah, so real people and real results. So yeah, I just now like to share a story of Sharon who has worked. He's in my group. Can you hear that?
Hi, I'm Sharon Palmer. I am at Humanity Works Consultancy. So I'm here for how to build a profitable speaker brand. She has been an incredible supporter of me in my speaking career, and because of her, I have landed at least 7 to 8 speaking gigs in the last 3 months alone. So I'm incredibly grateful to her for her support and her help and for cheerleading me on. And every time I post that I've secured another gig, she's the first person that comments on my LinkedIn post. And she's like, I'm cheering you on from home because my talks have taken me all around the world so far already. She didn't coach me, but what she did do was give me some very straightforward, tough love a few months ago when I said, you know, I don't understand why I'm not getting more speaking gigs. And she said to me, yeah, but have you told anyone you want any? And I was like, yeah, not really. So she kind of gave me some tough love and told me off, and she was quite right too. And then she gave me some beautiful advice, and I followed everything she said, and it's worked.
Okay, so Sharon is your typical invisible entrepreneur. She wasn't being visible. She was someone who's saying that I got good feedback, but she wasn't showing it. And she took some advice from me, and she did beautifully and up to her visibility game, and did the rest of the things that she needs to do around pitching and doing all the stuff. So that's really beautiful. And so, yes, of course, I am going to make an invitation to you. So if you are ready to fast track to your 1K speaking gig, there are a couple of opportunities that I would love to share with you. So the first thing is get the book. If you are just starting and you're looking to really just start from the foundations, thinking about a talk, your topic, and then work through your visibility, then the book is the first place to start. The second place is if you've already started speaking and you are wanting to elevate to more consistency, then the paid speaker audit is the one, because basically it's a personalized LinkedIn paid speaker optimization plan for you. And I work with you to help you to be more visible, relevant, and bookable. The third level is the paid speaker intensive, which is an all singing or dancing process where I go from the beginning of helping you to really understand your topic, packaging up your talk, helping you to be relevant, helping you to find opportunities to pitch and to have your LinkedIn profile all singing or dancing. So any of those levels, if you're interested, then please DM me with fee and you can claim any of these bonuses that are available until Saturday. So I invite you to stay momentum. So I have a free speaker community, which Sharon is a part of. You can come every month for free, and we have an hour session. And I believe that Edwina, who's on the call, has been to one of those sessions. They are great. And we are in community with other speakers where we talk about questions that will help us stay in momentum. We give each other feedback, and we support each other to rise and to also increase our net worth, to find out, have other speakers that are recommending us and putting our names in those rooms. So if you want to join us for those events, then please just do DM me paid speaker to get on that list. So we are just coming to the part where we're wrapping up. You've been a great audience, and I'm excited to see the action that you take. Now is the time for your paid speaker era. You have to change. You have to decide that you are adopting the paid speaker mindset, that you are being more visible, that you are, saying no to things that don't align, and you're always asking for the budget. So I hope that has given you the confidence to realize that, there are opportunities out there. It's a long game, but we first have to start by changing ourselves. So yeah, just basically, if you've got any, one action that you're going to take as a result of being in this space, please do drop it in the chat now. What's one action you're going to take? Because we are here to be action takers. You want 2026 to be the year of you being booked and paid. So what's one action you're going to take as a result of being in this masterclass, for following me? You've decided that this is what you want. So I'd love to know your one action. Because it only needs to be one. Start with one action. Don't overwhelm yourself. Start with one action. All of it. I'd love to know what's one start action. Is it to be more intentional about getting out of that speaker mindset? Is it to commit to being in that paid speaker mindset? Is it to work on your LinkedIn profile? Is it to tell people you're a speaker? Is it to remind yourself that free talks are not free because we all have to invest time and effort? Update, Alexander is saying, update my LinkedIn profile and tell more people you're a speaker. Yes, exactly. That's fantastic. Telling people is underrated, but it's actually a really super helpful thing because, as I said, the speaking business is a relationship business. So if you have people referring you, that really does help. It's not an immediate thing. I like to say sometimes that speaking is a bit like job hunting. We've got to do a lot of pitching and applying in order for us to actually be successful. It's not an overnight success. Our feeds are sometimes populated with I'm speaking announcements with all the time, but I guarantee you that those I'm speaking announcements, there's a lot that goes behind them, months, days, years. So we have to remind ourselves that we have to put in the foundational work, which is having clarity on what we speak about and going out in that paid speaker mindset. Benjamin is saying, join the community. Great, that's fantastic. Okay, so just before we go, I would like to take a picture. So if anyone would like to come on camera, please do come on camera, just to share what a great session that we've had. He was here. That's amazing. Fantastic. I'll just give everyone a minute and then we'll snap the picture. Edwina saying, say no and walk away if it doesn't align. Yes, the power of no is super powerful because in saying no, we are showing people how to treat us. And treating us as a paid speaker is something we want people to do. But it can only start when we put our flag in the sand and we say no. Okay, are we ready? Anyone else for the picture? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Perfect, thank you. Okay, Mary saying, thank you for this class. I'm inspired to take action and start working to gain confidence and negotiate. Brilliant. Fantastic. Yeah, so it's just one action. One action can really help us to, it really says thanks so much. Amazing, fantastic. Yeah, so please do, as I said, take one action, share about what you've learned, join us in the community. So just to say, the opportunities around the community are twofold. So I have that monthly free speaker community. I also have a LinkedIn message group, which again, it's a free community. If anyone wants to join that community, I message every day, sharing my posts and my content and opportunities for you to learn more about keeping in your paid speaker momentum. So if that's of interest, then please just DM me and ask about the LinkedIn group and you can be added. So thank you, everyone. I just want to underline that it takes courage to change, but nothing changes unless you do. So you're in the room and you've all committed and decided that you are ready for that paid speaker era. And I'm going to tell you that, yeah, it can be really painful at times because it takes us having to reassert our boundaries about being that paid speaker. That is the difference. That one, when you do that mentally, that is a energetic shift. And then secondly, it's a shift in the way that you are talking about yourself in the content. And again, it sounds a bit like woo-woo and a bit, ethereal, but those two together really allow people to see that you're the paid speaker. And when they approach you, they approach you in a very different way. But when we're still in that mindset of it's passive, I'm kind of doing it, I'm not really committed, then we're getting all of that okay, free speaker list, the free speaker list vibes. One final tip before we close this up, because I think it's something really important to share, is that charities do have speaker budgets. So the not-for-profit sector, you might think, are obviously trying to do good and raising money for amazing causes. They're doing that. but they also do have budgets for speakers. Here's the thing. They will assume if you do not ask about the budget that you've donated your fee, you've decided because you're in alignment with that cause that you do not want to charge. So if that's not you, please, if you're having discussions with charities, tell them you are a paid speaker and you'd like to discuss what's available in their budget. Obviously, the budget is not the same as a corporate organization, but it's still a budget nonetheless. That is what I like to close with. I hope you found this insightful. Please do share on LinkedIn and your socials. And I will be emailing you tomorrow. If you didn't get the email, please let me know. But yeah, to your paid speaking success. Thanks, everyone. Take care now.